In 2022, a few months after the Russian invasion of Ukraine that resulted in a major escalation of the Russo-Ukrainian War that started in 2014, filmmaker Olga Jabalinda saw herself capturing the opposite of sorrow, joy. Queens of Joy, which premieres as part of the newcomers competition at the Thessaloniki Documentary Festival, chronicles the lives of three drag queens who chose to continue to live and perform in Ukraine during the war. You can watch an exclusive trailer courtesy of Variety below. Queens of Joy is making history even before its world premiere as one of three projects chosen by Ukraine's public broadcaster Suspiln in their first-ever effort to co-produce films. It will also be the first LGBTQ+ film shown on the public national broadcaster. Queens of Joy is evidence that Ukraine is a free and tolerant country. I can't imagine seeing such a film in the totalitarian states, said Sergei Nedzelsky, head of co-production and outsource commissioning at Suspiln Ukraine, in a public statement. People will have the opportunity to see how LGBTQ+ people have chosen to stay in the country and support Ukraine, Jabalinda tells Variety. We have a lot of LGBTQ+ voices in the army, fighting on the front lines. Things are changing in a very good way. We used to share a lot of thoughts with Russia during my dad's generation, but now I'd say 70% of Ukrainians either openly support LGBTQ+ people or don't care. The groundbreaking documentary was born out of Jabalinda's friendship with one of the film's main characters, Diva Monroe. The performer has paved the way for drag in Ukraine since the 90s, helping introduce the term drag queen into the Ukrainian media vocabulary. Monroe now identifies as transgender and works as an influencer and trans activist. Monroe and I talked a lot about her decision to stay in Ukraine, says the director. It was great news to me that all the clubs would keep their doors open. They worked as shelters too, because many are basement clubs and can work as underground shelters. People would come in from the streets in the beginning of the war to be in a safe space. I was interested in this idea of the club as a safe space. Jabalinda began working in the film in the autumn of 2022 and spent the first year of pre-production working on nurturing her relationship with not only Monroe, this time from a professional point of view, but Marlene and Aura, the two other drag queens featured in the film. I wanted to capture my characters in their daily lives but also their stage personas and realized that, for that to happen, we needed time, she says. During development, we would meet each other and talk about everything. That first year, my DOP and I were just building a relationship with our characters. We needed trust, and trust takes time. We were sharing each other's lives, she adds, highlighting how the war context made her even more aware of some of her values as a documentarian. Filmmaking has always been part of my life, and it has continued to be so since the beginning of the war, adds Jabalinda, mentioning how she worked as a volunteer for the media team of a humanitarian hub for media on those early days of the war escalation. We are not doctors or soldiers, but we have our equipment and an understanding of what we can do to share what is happening right now, so we went to the streets and captured a lot of footage for Ukrainian media. Jabalinda is also in the Army Reserve and familiar with all Army protocols, something she credits as making her feel more confident in shooting with her subjects near the front lines. If I end up in a situation where I need to do something dangerous, I know what to do. Of course, I was thinking of the footage, but at the end of the day, human life is the most important thing. Speaking of important things, a key discussion in Queens of Joy is the rights of partners of LGBTQ+ soldiers killed on the front lines. Currently, gay marriage is illegal in Ukraine, meaning that when soldiers are killed, their partners are not immediately informed, do not have the right to decide what happens to their bodies, and are also not entitled to state support. Changing Ukrainian constitution is prohibited during martial law, making it impossible to legalize same-sex marriages during the war, but activists have organized petitions asking for the recognition of civil partnerships in the meantime. President Volodymyr Zelensky previously tasked the government to investigate such a possibility, with a draft law registered soon after.